We're considering some of the differences between how writing is taught in high school versus how it's taught in college, so that we can better understand why so many students coming out of high school are not prepared for college level writing. One of those differences has to do with the theory of writing that underlies instruction. In high school, the theory tends to be cognitive. It says essentially that all of our brains work the same, and when we write, we engage a collection of cognitive processes, and learning to write is a matter of acquiring those process skills. So that's why in high school, writing generally is taught according to a process model. Students plan, draft, revise, finalize a piece of writing in a process. In college, the underlying theory tends to be sociocultural. Sociocultural theory doesn't replace cognitive theory, but it adds to it. It says, whatever the cognitive process is engaged, writing always takes place in a particular cultural and social context. The writer is an individual in a relationship with the world around them, with the classroom, with the school they're in, with the society that supports that institution. And in that relationship, who they are matters. Their identity, their background, their values, their experience matter. So learning to write is a matter of acquiring cognitive process skills, but it's also a matter of navigating that cultural and social world they're in this case, the culture of college academics. Like any culture, college academics has its own set of shared values, its own expectations about how to communicate, how to behave, its own standards for what counts as a successful performance. For some students, learning to navigate that culture is not that different from what they learned growing up. They know what's expected of them. For other students, it's very different from their native culture. And so they need to begin to understand that that's the project they're engaged in as soon as they can. Understand that they are being socialized into a particular culture. So this difference in theory has some real implications for how students are taught to write. In the college classroom, for example, because who they are matters, students are expected to take responsibility for their own intellectual engagement. They're expected, for example, to be able to choose their own topics and choose topics that matter to them, that are important in their lives, because what they're acquiring is not just a set of process skills, but the tools of empowerment. They're learning how to figure out what it is they think on issues that matter in their lives, and then put their perspective forward and make it persuasive to other people. Have their voice heard. Make it persuasive to other people. They can be present in the work that they produce. They can, in fact, leverage their identity, their values, their background, their experience to make their perspective persuasive to other people. And they succeed in making it persuasive to the degree that they conform to the expectations of academic culture. That is, they have to demonstrate that they can read perceptively, that they can argue logically, that they can communicate effectively, in fact, demonstrate that they have the skills of an academically educated person. So, and this process is transferable from academics into the workplace, into society at large. They are navigating the culture that they're in according to who they are. So these are tools of empowerment. Whenever they're asked to write a paper, they should understand that they are acquiring tools of empowerment that will last them throughout their lives. In the next video, we'll consider some other philosophical ideas that are very helpful in thinking about how best to bridge that gap between high school and college writing.